Good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, June 26th. Fun fact, June is almost over. Today I'm going to be talking about 7 mistakes to avoid when you have that EIDL loan. All right, but before we do that, I would love it if you would please smash that like button. It only takes a second. Show your support. And also, if you're new to this channel or new to this video, please hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And you'd also be able to stay up to date with all the things going on with the SBA, the EIDL, the PPP, all that stuff, trying to keep you all updated daily. Also, if you wouldn't mind, comment below on what kind of music you're enjoying right now, whether it's your favorite artist or your favorite genre or whatever. As I said in my last video, it would just be good to bring some humanity back into this crazy situation. Right now, I'm really loving hip hop, specifically Logic, the rapper. I usually like EDM and hip hop and rap, but right now Logic, man, his shit's dope. So let me know below. Thank you so much. All right, first mistake you should avoid is not accepting the EIDL loan at all, just because of the scary language or the contract terms. Okay, if you need the money for your business to survive, definitely take it. It's more important, especially if you're trying to stay alive, to keep your family alive, keep your family fed, housed, all that. If it's all dependent on your business, definitely take the loan. Don't just decline it or ignore it because of the contract terms. Now, because the SBA says that they can, review your financial statements, or they can audit you, or they have access to all your property, or they can liquidate it if they want to, doesn't mean that they will. It just gives them the right to, but it doesn't mean that they will. And usually these things are more of concern if you're getting close to defaulting or you're missing payments, any of that stuff. Make sense? This kind of thing is normal for any loan. It might not be as much, but with any loan, you pretty much are entering a contract with the lender, and they pretty much have you by the neck until you pay it off. So these kinds of terms, it's not super unfamiliar, so don't decline it just because the contract sounds a little scary or overreaching. 2, do not commingle your funds. If you're not familiar, commingling means mixing your business and personal transactions together. That means if you're paying for your personal expenses out of your business checking account, or vice versa, paying your business expenses out of your personal checking account, do not do that. And the only exception here is if you're a sole proprietor, okay? Because if you're a sole proprietor, you most likely won't have like a separate business checking account. But here I'm talking about people who have LLCs, corporations, partnerships. You must have a separate checking account, and you must keep your transactions separate. And this is something that you should do outside of SBA loan scenarios. This is something that you should do anyway, okay? Because if you commingle your funds, it's going to make it even that much more difficult for the SBA to review your documents if they need to. And it's just not legal. It might seem more easy to do if you were a sole owner business, if you're a single member LLC or sole shareholder in your S corporation. It might be easy to just, oh, I need an extra $1,000 this month, and just take it out of my business checking account. Or, if your business makes all the money, it might be easier to just pay your mortgage out of your business checking account before you transfer it to your personal account. And that's just a huge no-no. All right, just treat it as though you were in a proper partnership. Because if you were paying your personal mortgage out of your business checking account and you were in a 50-50 partnership, would your partner be okay with that? That sounds like, that's definitely commingling. It could be considered embezzling if you're doing that. So just treat it as if you were in a partnership and you were held accountable by another partner, all right? And again, do this even outside of any SBA situation or EIDL situation. It's a good habit to do, because if you were to get sued or anything like that, or come under financial trouble, If you commingle your funds between your business and personal, your corporate protection is dismissed. You know how you get your LLC for liability protection? Well, if you commingle your funds, that goes away. So you are now personally liable for your business's transactions if you commingle. So definitely don't do that. 3, no bookkeeping. Whether you have an SBA loan or not, you should have some level of bookkeeping, and it's just a given. If you don't have bookkeeping, it's going to be harder for the SBA to review your books and your financial statements. You might not even have financial statements if you don't have bookkeeping. And so if they try to review your stuff and you can't properly provide them all the documents, they might make you pay for an audit or review from an accounting firm. And if you're not doing bookkeeping, that audit's going to be a lot more costly to get through, because you'll probably have to do the bookkeeping anyway, or they have to review your financial statements and basically take statements from you and try to corroborate the two together, and that's just going to get more costly. I definitely recommend hiring a professional to do your bookkeeping, like hiring a bookkeeper to do it. I mean, if you're just starting out in your business, it's fine to do your bookkeeping yourself, but as you grow, you're not going to have the time to do it, and you want it done well, because you can make good business decisions once you do proper bookkeeping. All right. So again, if you're a sole proprietor, this might be a little different for you. You might just get QuickBooks Self-Employed or something, and just attach it to your checking account, and then there you can sort out your business and personal transactions and kind of create financial statements that way. But if you're not self-employed and you have an LLC or S corporation or a partnership or whatever, you need some proper bookkeeping, no matter what. All right. 4, don't buy stocks or equipment with your EIDL money. This money is meant for working capital. It's meant for helping you get through this crisis, through this pandemic. It's supposed to help you stay afloat, especially with so much uncertainty. Even if you don't need it right now, you can hang on to it until you do need it, but don't use it to buy stocks or equipment. Stocks, I know it's an investment. It's a long-term investment. It's not really gambling, but it is a higher risk investment than, say, just putting it in a savings account. All right. Buying equipment is forbidden in the SBA contract. When you get their contract for the loan, you cannot use the funds to buy equipment. Okay, it's just as simple as that. If you need to buy equipment, use your revenue generated money to do it, and use your EIDL loan for working capital expenses. If you wanted to open another checking account or a savings account to put your EIDL funds in, which I recommend, it's safer to do it in like a savings account, so you can earn maybe a little interest while it sits there, rather than buying stocks and trying to invest that way. Right now might not even be the best time to do that anyway, since the market seems to be a little inflated, and if you're planning on buying like put options, that's just straight up, you're going towards gambling territory if you're buying open options. So 5, don't use it to refinance your debt. Now, the only exception here is if you had a credit card that you had to use during the pandemic, during government ordered shutdowns, to float your business through. You can use the idle funds to pay off the portion of the credit card that you use for that purpose. You can't use it to pay off credit card that you've had before the pandemic, that you've been accruing for a year or longer. Don't use the funds to pay that off. That's sort of like refinancing debt. Don't use the funds to pay off your car loan or business debt or a mortgage. Okay? That's not what it's meant for. It's meant for working capital. 6, don't take 30 years to pay off the loan. Okay? The loan terms is 30 years, and that's meant to provide you more flexibility, but I definitely don't recommend you take the full 30 years to pay it off. Because the scary language and the overreaching language that the SBA has in the contract when you sign on for this loan, if you take 30 years to pay it off, then that means they got you by the neck for 30 years. So pay it off as soon as you're reasonably able to. I got some clients who are planning to pay it off in 2 to 5 years. That means that gives them a less of a chance to be reviewed by the SBA, less of a chance to be audited by the SBA. You know, just the shorter time that you take to pay it off, the better. With a 30-year term, that gives you a lot of flexibility because you can just pay extra, you know, when you have the extra money, and if you don't in certain time periods, you just keep paying the minimum payments. And 7, don't use the funds to take distributions, okay? It explicitly says in the contract, don't use the funds to take distributions. Use it for working capital. And if you need to take distributions, if you're a corporation owner, then take it with revenue generated money. Don't use SBA money to do that. And just to be safe, don't take extravagant distributions or extraordinary distributions. Just take normal, necessary distributions if you need to, all right? I mean, that's again, good practice to have outside of SBA scenarios. You know, don't take distributions willy-nilly. Try to have some kind of structure around it, like every month, every 2 weeks, have sort of a consistent schedule for it, because this is another thing that can get you in trouble legally. Just like I talked about with commingling before, if you just take distributions willy-nilly, then that can actually get you in trouble. If you were to get sued or if you came into financial trouble with a lender, you might lose your corporate veil protection there. All right, that's all I got for today. I'm not gonna read comments this time. Maybe for next video I will. But thanks for joining me. Again, please smash that like button when you have a chance. And also, if you're new here, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Have a good weekend, y'all. I'll see you on Monday.